For most youth wrestlers in Illinois, there is one tournament that stands above the rest, IKWF State. It's the culmination of an entire season. Thousands of kids start the year dreaming about it, but only a few make it all the way through regionals and sectionals to step onto the mats at the state tournament. And for the senior girls division, the girls ages 13 and 14, this moment carries even more meaning. For many of them, this is their final IKWF tournament before high school wrestling begins. Today, we are talking about what makes IKWF State special, how Senior Girls Division works, and which storylines and athlete fans should we keep eye on this weekend. Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Illinois Girls Wrestling Podcast, the show that strives to create a supportive community for Illinois girls wrestling through storytelling and expert insights so that athletes, coaches, and families feel connected and empowered. Can this podcast be helpful for boys? Absolutely. We share a lot of great wrestling information for everyone. But we also wanted to make sure girls and their families have a space they can call their own in this wrestling world. Before we talk about the senior girls division specifically, let's quickly walk through how IKWF postseason works. For youth wrestlers in Illinois, the state series usually follows 3 steps: regionals, sectionals, state. At regionals, wrestlers compete locally to earn a spot in the next round. From there, they advance to sectionals, where the competition gets tougher and the brackets get smaller. Only the top wrestlers from each sectional move on to the IKWF State competition, which is one of the largest youth wrestling tournaments in the country. And by the time you reach state, everyone here has already survived 2 rounds of elimination. That means every match is tough and every win is earned. Now let's talk about girls seniors division, the age group of 13 to 14. This division is special for a few reasons. First, these athletes are often physically and technically very close to high school level wrestling. Many of them have been wrestling since they were young. And second, for a lot of these wrestlers, this is their last IKWF tournament ever. Next year, they will move on onto IHSA high school wrestling, where the stage gets even bigger. So the senior division is really a bridge between youth wrestling and a high school competition. And the girls in this bracket are often some of the most experienced youth wrestlers in the state. To help us preview the seniors girls division, we are joined by Eddie Kohley, who has been following youth wrestling closely this season and helped us to unpack sectionals last week. Welcome back to the show. How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Alrighty. So what are your thoughts of sectional? The one by you, how was it?
It was good. It was good. It was ours, the one we were at, West Chicago. It was a little bit smaller, but it was fun. You know, a lot of the people that are expected to won. So looking forward, I got to watch all the other sectionals feed in and watch those, especially some of the higher weights. And I'm excited for the outcome
Awesome.
this weekend.
Okay. Have you been to the state IKWF State before?
Yes.
So what tips do you have for the families that are going there for the first time? I'm guessing clear bag policy probably will be one of them.
Yeah. Yeah. Clear bag, follow the rules, and just go for the ride. You know, where we're going, they got a lot of rules, and the rules are there for reasons, you know, mainly crazy parents that have, made mistakes and got these rules set in place. But first day is going to be tough. It's hard. It's long. It's boring. The kids are gone for hours for weigh-ins, but sit back and enjoy it.
Okay. Oof, exciting. Well, let's get to nitty and gritty. Why do brackets matter at state?
Okay, so this might cause some disagreement to others. But if I were to ask myself that, I'm not sure brackets matter, right? I think as parents, we all want our kids to have success. We want them to have that easy path for everything that they do. And it's always tough to look at those brackets and see your kids got, undefeated girl right out of the gate, or, girl or boy that they've wrestled before that they really struggled with, and they went, down to the last seconds in those matches. But I personally think that at this age, especially going into high school, right? I think the reality of it is uh, have fun with it and toe the line with anybody that steps in front of you. Have the confidence. We've had all season to practice. Mm, don't worry about who's in front of you. Don't look at that stuff and just go get them. I think looking at the brackets and worrying about that stuff is again adding to the pressure of these kids. One way or another, if you are good enough and you're trusting the process and you went through the steps to try to place at state, then I think that you should be willing to wrestle anybody in your bracket.
Okay, good answer. And if you have to narrow it down, what does it take to place at state? Experience is good, but what else?
I think at this point for the seniors, I think it's going to have to be well, a combination of a few things. You got to desire it. You got to want it. You got, these girls. I talk to them and we do a lot of different conversations, a lot of mental work. You got to have the desire to win. You got to be able to see yourself on that podium at the end. If you got supportive coaches, you got supportive family, not the family that's in your corner that's harping on you and hammering on you because you executed a move wrong. Family that's going to be there with open arms and tell you good job no matter what. I think that's gonna play a big effect. And I think that these girls on the senior level, the ones that are really gonna shine in place, I think they're the ones that went above and beyond. I think they're the ones that traveled to different clubs, got online with their parents, looked at the placers, looked at who their competition is gonna be, and went and tried to wrestle those girls and get different looks. And the one thing I tell my kids is, my kids are young, but I ask them, like, what do your off days look like? I think the ones that end up on that podium and end up placing are the ones that take those off days just a little bit more serious than the others. Instead of sitting around, not doing anything, forgetting about your eating habits, I think the ones that take that serious and still go and do something a little bit extra, I think those are the ones that are going to end up placing this year.
Okay. And while I have seen at the sectionals, the girls' divisions are still not where it probably we want it to be. But are we getting more competitive, especially in the seniors division?
I think we are. Again, I agree. We're still not where we want, right? Growing girls wrestling, that's we're all saying it, we're yelling it as loud as we can every day. But yeah, the brackets are still light, even on the state level, lighter than I honestly expected this year. I think the girls that are there, especially, some of those like 100 to 130-pound girls, I think they are getting extremely competitive. I'm not going to throw names out right now, but there's a couple I know that are even willing to go to high school in Illinois and start wrestling with the boys.
Mhm.
I'm excited to see some of those play out this weekend and excited to see the growth. I know on the younger level, the brackets are much heavier, which is a great sign for years to come.
Mhm. So, if we are just talking about weight classes, which ones are the deepest and the most unpredictable ones?
Um, I'm gonna say between 100 and 130.
Mhm.
I have my two favorites that I picked, and I can share those now or later. But I think that, at least around here, 100 to 130 right now, they have full brackets, and a lot of those girls are extremely competitive. I have seen a handful of these girls in these brackets. They may not know who I am, but I'm that weirdo that spends my time watching videos and really trying to learn the sport as much as I can so I can better our girls with it. And I see them at different clubs. I see them pop into our club. They're there, they're getting the different looks. So I got a couple 100-pounders that I've seen, a couple 130-pounders that I've seen, and then a few in between.
Okay, let's hear it.
Well, I think I'm going to go 130 right out of the gate. Sadie Kenny, I think she was ranked number 2, if I saw that correctly online. I have been watching her train quite a bit lately, and I'm very excited to see her. I personally think she's going to pull through and be number one this year.
Mhm.
The amount of work and dedication, and most importantly, is something that I love to see is just a positive attitude. When she walks in a wrestling room, she's ready to work hard and she's ready to train not only herself, but the girls underneath her. Those little variables, I think, are huge. And I think, I really do think she's going to come out number one this year.
Mhm.
The other one I'm really looking forward to watching is the 100-pounder. There's a girl from Batavia, Lily Capcio. I have been watching her all season. I have had quite a few run-ins with my youth girls that have run into her, and it's like running into a brick wall. She trains hard. She trains hard with the boys. She trains hard with the Batavia Club, and they got a heck of a staff over there, and they're running a great girls' youth club. And she's already prepping and planning, from what I'm hearing, for her future in high school wrestling. Though she's not number one on the rank, I have a good feeling that the work that she's been putting in is going to pay off, and she's going to be number one as well.
Mhm. Anybody else? Or is those are your favorites?
Those are my two favorites right now.
Mhm. Are there any other matches you think we should be looking at?
Yes, I'm going to say, if you look at, even if you're looking at 120 pounds, you got a couple girls that got the buys.
Mhm.
The handful of those are undefeated right now going into the state championship.
Mhm.
You got Skylar Hessel. I don't want to say the name wrong, but another one, Skylar, gonna say it wrong, and I apologize. I think it's Weissenberger
Mhm.
from Carthage Wrestling Club. I'm very excited to watch that 120. I have no idea what to expect. I'm not gonna, make my decision off the rankings. But I can tell you, these girls are coming. They're coming to wrestle.
Have you seen Abby Glowacki wrestle?
Seen who?
Abby Glowacki, she's also in 120.
I actually have not.
Both there are two Glowacki sisters, and they are one of them is 120. The other one I believe is 95.
Okay, I'm looking.
Yes, Molly Glowacki and Abby Glowacki. It's interesting to see.
Okay, I see it. I'm looking at her. She's got a heck of a winning record.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. Okay, okay, I'm gonna add her to my list.
Did you see any, like if we have a first and a second seed meeting in the quarterfinals?
Um, there are quite a few, right? With the lighter brackets, you're gonna see these girls jumping ahead pretty quick.
Mm-hmm.
With those, I guess what I want with that is, whether you have a light bracket or not, for the people that are listening and the girls that are paying attention, I want them to not think about it. Even if they're getting buys all the way in, I want them to just remember that they made it there. They're in that top select few. I want them to go out and wrestle as hard as they can, and just really enjoy, the chance and the privilege they have to do this. We didn't have this as kids. Well, I remember when they first started doing it, and I forget the age, maybe 11, 12, something like that, is when you were able to start competing for these state like tournaments. So I hope that everybody has fun. I hope that all the talk online slows down, and people just enjoy their chance to get here.
Absolutely. How do you feel IKWF State prepares girls for transition to high school wrestling?
I love that. I think I think it's in the girl. I think at that age, like we talked about last week, at that age, a handful of them are going through all those changes, mentally, physically, emotionally. I feel that being able to handle this pressure is pretty tough. But if you can go in there, if you trust the process, you work the moves that you've been done, and you can enjoy it without having the pressure of negative people, negative coaches, and things like that, I feel like that's going to really benefit them. Coming up, on that senior age group, you're going to be seeing a lot of these girls that you're wrestling now. And I'm sure they realize this too. They're going to be seeing them in their high school duels and their high school tournaments on the state level. I think this is for them, this is their last chance. This is their last opportunity. They're going to make their name known. They're going to get their name out there and just kind of show up and show out, getting ready to go into the high school.
Mm-hmm. Do you
I
have
should say.
Do you have any advice for somebody who is a senior girl walking into IKWF State for the very first time?
Yes, have fun with it. Work your hardest. Keep a positive mindset, and remember that even if it doesn't work out this year, even if you don't get to the podium or you don't get whatever your goal was set, whether it be win one match, two matches, whatever it is at that state tournament, yeah, going into high school, it's a whole new. It is very different. In that, I can promise you this. In fact, we just talked about this the other day with a couple friends. No college recruiter is looking at your IKWF record.
Mhm.
No job recruiter is going to be asking you what you did at your senior level. You know, it's not going to get you anywhere. What it can do is it can teach you what you need to work on, and it can help you build the confidence that you need to get ready for that high school level.
Mhm.
So just have fun with it, go with the flow, and give everything you have.
Awesome. Now, do you have an advice for parents watching their girls wrestle and compete at state?
Oh, too much of it probably. We're seeing it. We're seeing it today. We're seeing it nonstop the last 2 weeks all over the internet, all over our phones with people texting and calling. And be proud of your kids, parents. Be proud of the fact that they got here, even if they had light brackets, right, in the girls' divisions right now. There's still a very small percentage of our females that are stepping up to the plate, and they changed wrestling as a whole, and now they're changing it for Illinois and for girls wrestling. Have fun, be there, bring them ice cream, bring them hugs and kisses, and it doesn't matter win or lose. If you keep a positive mindset with them, then they're going to go in and out of this with a positive mindset, and they're going to grow with every match just because you're there supporting as their biggest fan and their friend instead of, something negative and thinking that this is going to be life changing because it isn't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, absolutely. That's great words of wisdom from Eddie, who has been our guide through IKWF State Series. Thank you so much for jumping on the call today and talking about it. And I am looking forward to talking again with you in the future about girls wrestling and what we are looking for in next year.
Appreciate that. Thank you again.
There is something unique about state tournament. The arenas are bigger, the brackets are tougher, and the emotions are stronger. For the athletes in the senior girls division, this weekend represents years of practice, hundreds of matches, and early morning and long tournaments. All of this is coming together onto one stage. And whether a wrestler walks away with the medal or just the experience, competing at state is something they'll remember for a long time. If you remember nothing else, remember this. The seniors girls division at IKWF State is more than just one bracket. It is a final chapter of youth wrestling for many athletes and the first glimpse of the future of girls wrestling in Illinois. Thank you for joining us on Illinois Girls Wrestling Podcast. Wrestling is more than wins and losses. It's about growth, resilience, and the community that forms around the sport. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with the wrestling family, teammate, or a coach who loves the sport as much as we do. Email us at ilgirlswrestling@gmail.com. We're on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. Until next time.